afternoon. Once again, intense negotiations are underway in the Middle East as Israel and Hamas negotiate a potential ceasefire to stop the fighting and get hostages out. Tensions are boiling over in that region and here in the U.S. as rallies escalate on college campuses. Anger over Israel's failure to bring hostages home spilling onto the streets, with Israelis stepping up protests to pressure Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to cut a ceasefire deal with Hamas. Secretary of State Antony Blinken flew into Saudi Arabia this morning. This is his 7th visit to that region since the war began nearly 7 months ago. His arrival comes hours after a phone call between President Biden and Prime Minister Netanyahu about Israel's possible ground assault on Rafah. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas says that an Israeli attack on the southern city, where more than 1 million civilians are taking refuge, would be the biggest catastrophe in the history of the Palestinian people. And take a look at this map. It shows all the universities where people have been arrested in connection with protests. Anti-war clashes also continuing to break out on college campuses across the U.S., with Israeli and Palestinian supporters shouting slogans and insults. Pro-Palestine demonstrations are popping up at more and more universities across the U.S. as well. Schools are now under intense pressure to respond to those protests because graduation season is now underway. Today is the last day for classes at Columbia University in New York, where the campus movement began. An encampment there remains in place as students and administrators discuss protester demands.